everybody. This is Brian. Welcome to Chiller Night Live. We're from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 o'clock. We'll talk about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. You pick the topic and we'll make a show out of it. Bonehead says, hey, hello, Brian. Hey, Bonehead, thanks for joining us. There's my baby Ava Hoagie. Hello, hello. Thanks for peeking in. Oh, there's Renee with just an onslaught of all kinds of how do I read that? There's just a red rocket countdown liftoff planet. Oh my gosh. There's just well Renee is in the house. So thank you for joining us, Renee. Just a plethora of images there. Tom says, good evening. Good evening, Tom. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Yo, what's up? Stephanie says, hey, y'all. Hey, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us. Renee says, what's going on? What's going on indeed? What's going on out there? Please happen. Bonehead says, hope you and yours had a good week. Hi. Hello, Miss Ava. Oh, thank you, Bonehead. I think we had a pretty good week. Yeah, we've been doing pretty good. I feel much more rested up since after Halloween, so that's kind of nice. Now we're going into just a regular holiday season and a great time of the year. So looking forward to that. SBC says, hello, everybody. Hey, SBC, thanks for joining us. So tonight, there's been no predetermined topic. So this is it. This is our chiller chat for the night. Anybody have any good horror movies or sci-fi movies that they've seen recently? If you want to talk about those, or if you want to talk about what was the House Committee hearings on the UFOs, or I forget the other term that they've been using, because for 56 years I've been calling them UFOs, and I'm just not ready to change. It's like from Twitter to X, you know, it's just like, oh no, I don't know. I'm kind of already used to it. So Dan says, glad to be here at the best hour of the week. Hey, Brian and everyone else. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, but I had somebody get in touch with me this week. They were, there's Renee. Happy UFO, top secret, declassified, disclosure, transparency, transcendence, hearings, making strides day to day. Yes, yes. Happy that day indeed. I had somebody get in touch with me. They were a little rattled by that, by the admissions that they were hearing in a setting such as that, you know, an official setting like that. I said, I don't know. Just think of them as visitors, and you know, this other stuff is, I don't know whatever helps you wrap your mind around this stuff. I mean, a lot of us, I don't think it's a shock to, you know, when you've already gone so many years believing in something, it's not that big of a startle, even if the president himself were to come out and admit that. Okay, I mean, it's not, to me, there's really no difference. Maybe that's bridging a gap for a lot of people who just were uncertain. It certainly would, but okay. You know, I mean, it's significant. Don't get me wrong; it's significant, but it's not a shock. I'll put it that way. It's not at all, because I've known they were there. Renee says, "Rest in peace, Tony Todd." That's right, Tony Todd passed away. Ava mentioned that to me. I had already seen that on social media, but she had brought that to my attention as well. And we had met him, Ava and I met him at one of the Horror Realm. What's that? Yeah, Ava just comes up to about there on him. Yeah, he's pretty tall guy. So, but we met him down at the Horror Realm, one of the Horror Realm conventions at Pittsburgh. So. And then Renee says, rest in peace, Terry Garr. That's right, Terry Garr. She had passed away as well. Bonehead says, cool shirt, Brian. Oh, thank you. Thank you. The Chiller Night Escape experience. Had a good time this weekend. I don't always post the people who come through it, because some people don't they don't make it, you know, so I feel a little funny, like, hey, you know, but I tell them beforehand, you know, I don't want any, you know, I ask for no photographs or video while inside. However, if you decide afterwards, if you'd like a picture in front of the facade, you're welcome to do that. Some people like that, some people don't. So, but had a group go through this weekend. They didn't make it. They went through the witching hour one. D says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening, D. Thanks for joining us." Patty says, "G1 in stores today." G1 in stores today. Is that? What would that be? Is that a Godzilla movie or something? G1? I'm sorry, I'm not up on that. I probably should be if I'm doing shows like this. But Stephanie says, "Love the t-shirt, Brian." Thank you, Stephanie. Renee says, "Superman." Yes. We were talking about, I forget what we were even talking about. I remember this being brought up about Superman, little statues and stuff. So I was going to put Boba Fett up there, and I thought, nah, it's got to be Superman, by golly. And, there's John says, "And as surely as the sun sets." That's already starting out pretty heavy. I like that. As surely as the sun sets and the moon rises, it's time again for Chiller Night Live. This is Crozak the Grand, and now here is Bryan Hogue. Thank you, Crozak the Grand. I had to give that justice, you know. The tone had to match the words. So thank you, John. Tom says, "Yeah, Brian, put your shirts up for sale." Maybe, yeah, maybe I should. Well, I mean, the plan is to eventually do that, and not only these shirts, like the for the store and haunted house stuff like that, and Jack Shadow, but I would like probably going into 2025. I'll get some more merchandise. I don't have a whole lot of merchandise because over 50% of my merchandise is still on back order, and I cannot cancel the order until January. They told me. But yeah, that is one of the intents to have the T-shirts for sale. Patty says, "Brian, are shirts available for online sales? The one you're wearing?" Oh, they are not at this time. Not yet. But Abe and I are going over what we want for this year, kind of going down our little wish list of what we would like to accomplish for the store, and maybe T-shirts will be in that on that list. I mean, I would like that to be. I just have to figure out like the best way to do it. SBC says, "I believe in UFOs, but I just trust everything that comes from the government." Yep. T says, "X-Files, I want to believe." Oh, I think I can say with a lot of confidence, if you want to believe, there's a good reason to. Bonet says, Go Godzilla, -1 hits stores today." Is that what you were talking about, Patty? That must be Godzilla -1 hit stores today, and she said G1. Okay, that's what I kind of figured. PBR is giving me the wave. So, all right. Thanks for joining us, PBR. D says T-Mobile G1. Yeah. T1. D says Shopify print on demand. Oh, yeah, I remember looking into that once. Yeah, that would be. I don't know how to. I have to look into that. That's a good idea. In fact, I'm going to write that down. I have a piece of paper just off view. I'm not writing on my desk. I'm going to write that print on demand. I remember looking into that one time, but I never followed through with it. John says, "I just picked up Godzilla -1 on Blu-ray today. I plan on watching it later." Ah, cool. Very cool. Yeah, I remember looking into that. I just wasn't at the point yet to where I could kind of proceed with it. Stephanie says, "I watched Dr. Phibes Rises Again." Ah, very cool. Very cool. Did you enjoy it? What'd you think of Dr. Fives Rises Again? Well, see what Stephanie thinks. Just got me thinking about Vincent Price. What a good actor. He was one of the few that just through his presence, he could be doing almost anything, and he's still entertaining. I don't think I can say that about like a whole lot of actors. Um, a lot of them, it really depends on what part they're playing. But he could play like almost anything. I always thought that Peter Cushing was kind of like that, but not as much as I like Peter Cushing. It wasn't quite there, as much with Vincent Price. Vincent. Stephanie says, not the first time I've watched it, but it was good. Oh, that's right. You said again. Or I or was that a sequel? He rises again. That's cool. All right. PBR says, I Am Legend is his best movie in my opinion. Well, Vincent Price, The Last Man on Earth. Yeah, that was yeah, I Am Legend. That was based off of that book, I Am Legend. And I know I've mentioned this on here before, but it seems to be, I think we might have a topic. Maybe not. Maybe it'll last for 2 minutes, but yeah, that's that neat idea about, I Am Legend, The Last Man on Earth. That was a movie that inspired George Romero to make Night of the Living Dead, or to help, kind of springboard his story with the dead returning to life. And I remember John Russo was telling me, he told me that he actually came up with the idea, John did, about them being ghouls. They weren't using the word zombie at that time. The ghouls, flesh eaters. He said originally they were going to do, and I've heard this before from other sources, but it could have been even aliens. He wasn't sure. The creature was uncertain at first, but they were, it was kind of like The Last Man on Earth. They kind of like a zombie, kind of characteristics of vampires. So, but yeah, he told me that he came up with the idea that they were going to be ghouls, zombies, eating people. So, I don't know. I can't. That's him telling me that. I don't have anything to say yes or no to that. I'm just going by what the man said. Co-writer of Night of the Living Dead. PBR says, Peter Cushing is the man, going through all of his movies. And, am I stepping on a chair? That he and Christopher Lee starred in. Well, that'll be a pretty good list of movies, if I do say so myself. Renee says, I rewatched Forrest Gump, and it said life is on there for like 12 times. Like a bunch of chocolates, I swear to God. Oh, you were watching it on Tubi. Tom says, I think The Fly is what put Vincent Price on the map for me. Oh, okay. The Fly. SPC says, I liked how they included him as a character in the remake of House on Haunted Hill. Yeah, and I like, even in the 80s, I thought that was, kind of a next generation of viewers, of kids growing up, where, they might have only been introduced to Vincent Price in like Thriller or Edward Scissorhands. Was that 89, 90 maybe? I think that was his last movie too. But I liked him in Thriller. I thought, what a neat choice to do the Thriller narration. Bonin says, or the dialogue there. Bonin says, Richard Matheson wrote a lot of good stuff. Dual Twilight Zone episodes and more. Great writer. For I Am, is that the one who wrote I Am Legend? I take it, because you were mentioning it. D says, The Last Man on Earth is one of my least favorite Vincent Price movies. Really? Why is that? Is that, oh, gosh, I gotta find out why that is. I don't like that movie. That's like a really, it's a kind of a depressing movie. Maybe that's why, or maybe you didn't care for the acting. I don't know, but, or the situation was perhaps not your thing. Patty says, G1 on DVD, 1996, Blu-ray, $24.96, and 4K, $29.96. None come with digital copies. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Doesn't sound like it doesn't seem over the years like the price has gone up that much for these DVDs and Blu-ray. I don't have a Blu-ray. I do have the DVD player, but I never watched DVDs. Mine's been, I can't tell you the last time I watched a DVD. I stream everything anymore. Got tons of DVDs, but I don't have my DVD player hooked up, and I haven't for years. We got so many other things plugged in. Then I rewound it, and it said, was, WTF. What am I missing? About Forrest Gump? Life is, was. What are you doing? Renee, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You know what? Just stay away from Forrest Gump. If it's causing you this much turmoil, stay away. Stay away from Forrest Gump. It's no good. Patty says, is it my imagination, or is the new Star Wars series about a girl from our world getting stuck in the Star Wars universe and they try to get her home? I don't know, but that's not a new idea. No, it's not. Does anybody know of another, whether it's canonical or not, whether it, in the official storyline or not, do you remember when that happened before? Where they actually introduced Earth in the Star Wars storyline, in the Star Wars universe. I'll let it sit a minute, see if anybody knows. Stephanie, but to answer your question, Patty, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up on it, so I don't know what the what it is, what's going on there. Stephanie says, question, how would you survive the zombie apocalypse? How would I survive? How would I survive? I would easily survive. Hands down, I would be the Rick Grimes of the true zombie apocalypse. I just would. I've got cunning. I've got a good shot, expert marksman, and I'm still, like to think I'm still physically fit. So I think I got some pretty good survival skills. I'd get us through it. So if there is ever a zombie apocalypse, I encourage you to come on up here and follow me. I know the way. Let's see. Bonin says Vincent Price was also. But if anybody else wants to answer that question of Stephanie's, I don't think that was directed just at me. I think that was thrown out to the group. How would you survive? Or do you think you would? Do you even think you would survive? Bonus says Vincent Price was also a good cook as well as art aficionado. Yes, Masson wrote I Am Legend. I thought so. I mean, the name, I couldn't have told you that off the top of my head, but the name sounded familiar. I have heard that he was a very good cook. I didn't know that about the art necessarily, or remember that. John says, FYI, on YouTube, Shout Studios, you can binge watch ALF Space Precinct, and they will host the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Turkey Day Marathon. Oh, is that right? All right, YouTube, Shout Studios. Thank you for that information there, John. Patty says, Bonehead, did you ever buy any of his cookbooks? PBR says, on season 6, episode 26 of Doctor Who, only 167 more seasons to go. What? Are there that? What? How? How is there that many seasons? Isn't the seasons usually a year? Unless, what do they do? They divide it in half? I don't even know what that'd be. Are you sure those numbers are right? Um, Not disputing it, just pointing out a little. All right, so SBC says, Stephanie, by plane to a small pond. Ah, okay, here's the answer. About SBC and the zombie apocalypse. He'd go on a plane to a small palm island and then wait in a hammock until the zombies have all rotted away. All right, providing that you could have, a source of food and water. You're on an island. I can't drink the salt water, but all right, there's an idea. Renee says Star Wars Skeleton Crew arrives December 3rd with the 2-episode premiere. Oh. Is that what that is? I mean, I wonder if they are introducing somebody from Earth into the Star Wars universe. And that reminds me, I will just be disclosing where they've actually done that before. Let's see. But it says, yes, Pat Sylvan, I have, and he's got some really extravagant recipes in there, and just as many easy, quick recipes, referring to the Vincent Price cookbook. Very cool. D says, it's one of those movies that I saw yell at the screen, no! Tragedy and emotional torture of the character. Yeah. Yeah, I remember doing that episode for Chiller Night Theater. Actually, it was the very first episode that Jack Shadow hosted ever was The Last Man on Earth, previously Sleepy Hollow Theater. But then when I relaunched Chiller Night Theater, I believe that was the kind of the relaunch of the show. That was the first episode that I did again. So, but yeah, Jack, I remember we were talking about Walking Dead also, and there were some similarities. Vincent Price's character is named Morgan, and there's a Morgan, very famous character on The Walking Dead, who we meet right off the bat. He and Rick going up against the zombies together, and Morgan's wife. There was a scene in there. It was very similar to Morgan's wife in The Last Man on Earth. She arrives home after dying. I'm talking about Last Man on Earth, and you see the door handle. From his point of view on the inside of the house, you can see the door handle turning. Now she's actually saying, Morgan. She opens up the door. Walking Dead, Morgan's wife returns to the house that she knows that they're in, or they were staying in, with Morgan and his boy, and you see that doorknob turning. And I often wondered if that was, I've never heard this said, I've never read this anywhere, but I've just, I noticed those similarities, and I wondered if that was a nod to the scene from The Last Man on Earth. I don't know. But I remember Jack Shadow bringing that up, because that's what he does. Patty says, yeah, but Jack feeds his zombies with people, right? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. D says, I'd become zombie breakfast, lunch, dinner. Yep, I'd be doomed. Oh, well, you're really selling yourself short there. Come on now. Renee says, used to watch Space Precinct Sci-Fi Channel. I've never seen that. I don't know what that is. SBC says, zombies in Europe, big problem. Zombies in USA, no problem. Everyone has lots of guns. Yeah. Brett says, good evening, Brian. Hey, Brett, thanks for joining us. How are things at the Cranberry Mall tonight? Or I don't know if you're working tonight, but I will be back there tomorrow night. Of course, I take Tuesdays off from the store, so. But hope all is well. The mall's looking nice with all the Christmas decorations, so looking nice and cheery. Bonin says, I'm a skull, Brian. The zombies wouldn't have nothing to eat for me. Haha. No, I guess not. PBR says, not seasons, 167 episodes to go. Oh, I thought more seasons ago. Only 100. Oh, okay, well, gotcha. That makes a lot more sense. Stephanie says that scene was scary. Yeah. PBR says, be right back. Phone call. Ah, okay. Yes. Get that phone. Bonin says, well, Pets Van, if Jack Shadow starts cooking him good meals, they'll quit eating people. I can't believe I just wrote that. Well, speaking of Cranberry Mall, you know where I'm going with this now. You know where I'm going with this springboarding into this topic, but you know, where are my ads? Okay, the witching hour at the Cranberry Mall. Chiller Night Escape Experience. We have the witching hour escape room. It's a 1 hour escape room, and can you survive the night? Can you get out before the witch returns? Can you escape before the witching hour? If you think you can, or you just want to try out, even if you don't think you can, but you think you'll have a good time playing, book that escape room at 814-209-8214. You can call that number there, or you can book online at chillernight.com. And well, if you like the witching hour, you might just like zombie outbreak. That's kind of what we're talking about right now, zombie apocalypse. Hey, if you don't know whether you'll survive, maybe this will give you a little hint as to whether you will or won't. Zombie outbreak. You can dial 814-209-8214. Dial? Nobody dials anymore. As soon as I said that, I just thought that sounded wrong. Okay. You can call that number, or you can book that online at chillernight.com. All right. Do all that fun stuff right there at Chiller Night at the Cranberry Mall in Venango County, Pennsylvania. Venango. All right, still got to tell people that. Renee says Farscape. Farscape. What was that? Was that Dennis Quaid? Was in that movie? That's an old one, isn't it? Older one, back in the 80s. Renee says, I hate zombies. Really? See, Jack Shadow's not too fond of zombies either. Out of all the zombies in the hierarchy, I guess, of all the monsters, you know, in this kingdom right here, the Dark Domain, he definitely thinks of the zombies as the bottom of the barrel. Bonehead says, long and short of it, Brian, zombies don't like me neither. Only the dog who likes to bury me in the backyard. Oh, Lord. Ah, that would be just terrible. Renee says, Dracula and vampires are better than zombies. Oh, yeah, it's a much, obviously a much more, and they have intelligence and capabilities that a zombie certainly won't have. Weird thing about the zombies, though. You know how some movies have the running zombies, some movies have the walking, the Romero zombies, as we like to call them, with those characteristics from Night of the Living Dead, like The Walking Dead. However, I see that The Walking Dead is now showing variant zombies, you know, that the kind that are running, you know, full speed and stuff like that, which I thought was interesting because it's so weird to see running zombies on The Walking Dead now. I call it The Walking Dead. You know, the most current show was Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol. But it is interesting seeing zombies that can, you know, that are much more evolved or above and beyond what we see in The Walking Dead with the slow-moving zombies traditionally. So, kind of cool. Kind of cool. The zombies in like the Dawn of the Dead remake, they're just running at a breakneck speed. The 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake, I think that was 2004. I like that movie. I don't typically like running zombies, you know, in the movies, but I did enjoy that remake there. Renee says, if George Lucas or Steven Spielberg made a zombie movie, then I'll watch it. Oh yeah. All right, well, maybe they will. I'm surprised they haven't. I don't know. I guess that's not really their cup of tea, necessarily, but it'd be interesting. Renee says, the only zombie movie I liked was Shaun of the Dead and the one with Brad Pitt. What was that? Z? Um, Gosh, I'm drawing a blank on that. I know which one you're talking about. Again, with the running zombies. Um, Shaun of the Dead was excellent. I love that movie. PBR says Farscape is a Jim Henson production. But who? Oh, I'm thinking of Dreamscape. Maybe I'm thinking of Dreamscape. Um, Sorry, hate to do this when I'm on here, but I gotta know. Dreamscape. Remember that movie? 1984. Cast Dennis Quaid. That's where I came up with that. Okay, so that explains that, why I was thinking of Dennis Quaid. Renee says, seen it with my youngest nephew who died. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You saw... Which one? Shaun of the Dead or the Z one? I'm calling it the Z one. Oh, World War Z, Bonehead says. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Bonehead. I just keep saying the Z one. Bonehead says, bring back the Tar Man from Return of the Living Dead. He'd be cool zombie, methinks. Oh, I know. Oh, that was so disturbing. The first time I saw that movie and saw Tar Man, oh man, that was creepy. I don't mind saying that really creeped me out. And I know that movie was done more in the vein of a comedy, but that was a creepy. Definitely was a creepy zombie to me. Tar Man, and they could speak. Send more paramedics. And Tar Man saying brains. Yeah, that was just weird. Oh, and then the zombie on the gurney there or whatever, she's explaining to Bert and Ernie, the characters, Bert and Ernie. She's talking to them, and it just weird. What a weird movie. PBR says World War is a good movie, but nothing like the book whatsoever. Both really good, but for very different reasons. Is that right? I didn't read the book, so I don't know. So it usually turns out that way. I guess Stephanie would probably... I know she reads a ton, so I would imagine she'd run into that quite a bit, where the movie version is so much different than the book. Yeah. One of my favorite, though, I did enjoy The Walking Dead. I still do. But I'll tell you what. I've said this on here before. The first, 3 seasons, man, those were like golden to me. I just love the first 3 seasons of The Walking Dead. After that, not so much, but it was still a nice thing on Sundays. That was our thing. And we'd look forward to that. I mean, we really look forward to that. But then it got to the point to where, especially those last few years, that was hard to watch. Uninteresting. Just, after season 6 started, the whole thing with Negan, I think some storylines, and this was kind of touched on with the book and the movie in a way. Some things you can do in print a lot better than you can do on film, in my opinion. Like that whole thing with Negan, I think that's where they started the ratings really started dropping with that. And I don't think it's because the character is bad. I think a lot of people like that character, including myself. But I think that story, Ava and I were just talking about this the other night, that storyline should not have been drug out for 2 seasons, I don't think. I think that they could have wrapped that up in 1 season and been okay with it. But then they started getting all these side characters. Every side character, who I still don't know their names. I was not at all interested in 90% of them. I didn't care, and they would make just these side stories, where they're trying to just, I don't know, I didn't care about them. I had no interest in these side characters. And they were trying to convince us, the viewers, that they were so important and I didn't care. And that's kind of where I really started to lose a lot of the interest, because they kept putting all these side characters as if they were Rick and Daryl, and like I didn't care about them. Bonehead says Tarman is my favorite zombie, but we all know Bonehead is obsessed with Godzilla. Yeah, yes. Bonehead says I gave up reading for Lent, Brian. LOL. Yeah. But you do like reading, right, though? Because I remember you saying something about you had even considered something about getting into a book club. So that'd be interesting if you had the time to do that. That'd be kind of cool. I think you have the time to do anything. You just kind of prioritize it. SBC says someone should make a musical version of The Walking Dead, The Singing Dead. Oh, yeah. Sure. Well, maybe you ought to work on that. Maybe that would be a project for you there to undertake, SBC. PBR says, The Walking Dead, which started as a comic, the first 3 seasons or so followed the comic extremely closely. Yeah, they did. Tom says, The Dancing Dead. Yeah, kind of like I mentioned Thriller earlier. We could, let's see more of that. Al says, hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I just got home. Hey, Al, thanks for joining us. PBR says, but was always more of a fan of Night of the Living Dead franchise, which also started out as a comic book. I have a Night of the Living Dead comic book, and it might even be the first one. I don't remember. What the Night of the Living Dead franchise? I don't know. I don't know exactly what is meant by that. Is that the comics? Because I didn't see those until the 90s, so I don't know if I'm thinking of the right thing or not. But Night of the Living Dead, which also started out as a comic book. You mean the 1968 movie? Well, what do you mean there? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. Bonin says, The Waltzing Dead. Dancing with the Dead. Yeah, The Waltzing Dead. Stephanie, I'm a big fan of the original Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. We had, remember the helicopter zombie? I remember going to his house. I went to his house. He lives in, over in Adams County, over by Gettysburg. Traveled across the state. I was doing something else too, but kind of 2 birds with 1 stone in this trip. But one of the trips was I got in touch with him and went and did an episode of Chiller Chat at his house. So that was kind of cool. Who else have I met there from the original Dawn of the Dead? Tom Savini, of course. He's been on the show. He was on the show one time, and had him at one of my House of Terror haunted houses as a guest. Had anybody else? I know one of my other instructors at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, Jerry Gergley, was he had worked on the special effects. He assisted in working on special effects for those movies. In fact, I remember one of the classes, they had some of the props from the Romero movies, and they were passing them around, just letting us see them. So that was kind of cool. I remember Tom Savini stopping in there one time too, talk to Jerry. Renee says, so what I want, because I am so bored with everything. Marvel versus DC and Star Wars 3-movie trilogy each. Marvel versus DC and Star Wars 3-movie trilogy. You mean Marvel, DC, and Star Wars all together? Is that what you mean? Why not? Why not? They all are... yeah, they can do anything in a multiverse situation. It's like one of you had brought up, Patty, or one of you had brought up the what ifs, the storylines. We were talking about the multiverses and stuff like that. So, yeah, why not? You can do anything. Yeah, everything's game now, because just explain it away. It's a multiverse. But, you know, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Do you ever see those on the Batman versus Darth Vader? And oh, you know what? We are bridging that gap between Star Wars and Earth, and nobody answered this. Nobody answered this because it was brought up earlier about, does that have something to the newest one? Is that about a girl from Earth being, I guess, introduced or brought into the Star Wars universe? I don't know about that, but I do know there was a time when we had people from the planet Earth visit the Star Wars realm or universe. It was back in the 80s with the Ewoks movie. I think it was like yeah. Let me see if I can pull up the synopsis here, because I am almost certain that those people were from planet Earth. Ewoks. 1985. The Battle for Endor. I just hate Ewoks to begin with. Pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, maybe we don't see where she's from. I don't know why I thought for sure. I think she's supposed to be from Earth. You know what? I might be thinking of He-Man. The movie He-Man. Now, I'm pretty sure they're from Earth on this one, though. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know that for sure. And I don't want to sit here and read this while we're doing the show. But do you guys remember the He-Man movie with Dolph Lundgren as He-Man? That was a movie that also, I'm going to say also, because I still believe that they were supposed to be from Earth. Oh, geez. Yeah, they had He-Man and the girl, I forget her name. They came back to Earth and they did that because of the budget. I read that they actually had them come back to Earth in the 80s because of the budget. It was cheaper to film current. So a lot of the movie took place then. Remember Pat, but never actually saw it. Zombie movie, My Boyfriend's Back. Oh, I didn't see that one. Renee says, or Marvel DC team up versus Star Wars Star Trek team up. That would be interesting. Bonus says, no, I think the original Night Dead was a movie. Creepshow started because of comic books. I don't think Night of the Living Dead was a comic book before 1968. I don't either. I'm, I know the Creepshow and, was based off of Tales from the Crypt, the old AC comics. But I don't know of any that was specifically Night of the Living Dead before the movie came out. But I do have a Night of the Living Dead comic book, but it looked like it was from I bought it back in the 90s when I lived in Pittsburgh. Patty says, does the CDC still have the zombie outbreak on their website for epidemics? I don't know. Did they? I think they did, didn't they? I think I remember hearing about that when COVID first started flaring up. Zombies in space, Renee says. Yeah. Zombies versus vampires. Yeah, can they turn each other into? What would happen? SBC said, I know it's only a matter of time until Star Wars and Star Trek meet. Yeah. Patty says Star Trek and Doctor Who met in a book. Oh, really? What was the Ewoks movie? Battle for Endor, I believe, SBC. Renee says Ozzy would be the Prince of Darkness Dracula. It turns into a zombie because of his stuttering accent. Yeah. PBR says, no, Alice Cooper would be the Prince of Darkness. He was even in The Prince of Darkness. John Carpenter. Very good movie. I like that movie. Yeah, I've said that on here before. I think that's an underrated movie. SBC says Star Trek meets Alien. That would be a great movie. Yeah. You know, they almost had the Star Trek meets that movie First Contact with the Next Generation. The movie. I thought that was kind of cool because the one girl on there describes the Borg. You know, the Borg infested the Enterprise, and she referred to them as the bionic zombies. And it was done in a way that really kind of made it, I don't know, kind of creepy. You know, real low lit and everything. So that was kind of cool. I remember seeing that at the theater. Patty says, "I love the Human with the Doll" and Frank Langella. Frank Langella. Ah, he played Dracula and Skeletor. Well, that's probably who you're talking about, the Human with the Doll. I'm guessing, right? Stephanie says, "Does anybody remember the Planet of the Apes ending?" Oh, heck yeah! That's a classic ending. The original 1968 Planet of the Apes, same year as Night of the Living Dead, same year as Bryan Hogue ventured into this existence. I do remember that. Remember that well. SBC says, "I wasn't a big fan of the animated series, but I liked the He-Man movie." Patty says, "Sorry, I love the He-Man with Dolph and Frank Langella as Skeletor." Oh, Dolph! You must... Oh, I wonder if you were doing the talk-to-text thing. Yeah. But it says Godzilla meets Gamera, and they team up with King Kong to fight each other, Kaiju. That'll never happen, unfortunately. I don't know. They are doing all kinds of stuff now. I mean, I thought that they were going to bring Rodan and Mothra and all that stuff into the Godzilla movies now. Do you think that wouldn't happen? I kind of think that there's a possibility there. That's kind of a big thing now, those Godzilla movies. Michael Myers versus Ghostface movie, Stephanie says. Donna says, "I might watch that Prince of Darkness tonight, Brian. You got me interested in it now." Oh, now would this be the first time you're seeing it? It's a good one. I think it's a good one. I really enjoy it. John says, "Zombies versus Alien. Imagine how terrifying that an undead xenomorph would be." Oh, yeah, these are some neat ideas. Renee says, "Masters of the Universe, Dolph Lundgren." I heard that they were going to make another Masters of the Universe movie, so I don't know. Renee says, "Dolph Lundgren was also in the movie Johnny Mnemonic." Oh, was he? With Keanu Reeves? Was that who was in that? I didn't see that movie, but I kind of vaguely remember that. Patty says, "Wasn't the He-Man movie one of Billy Barty's last movie appearances?" Oh, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know who that is. I mean, it might be somebody I know to see, but I can't think of who that is. Renee says, "What's gangster rapper Ice-T, who is also in Tank Girl with Laura Petty?" I didn't see that either. Tank Girl, I did not see that. Al says, "Star Wars, Star Trek crossover. Vader joins the Borg." Vader, yeah, I would take over the Borg, I think. SBC says, "We had King Kong versus Godzilla." Yeah, I mean, they're up and at it again, so I don't know. I think that could happen. You know what gives me that idea? Is at the end of, was it Skull Island? That, the one that was Samuel Jackson and Tom Hiddlesworth? Is that his name? The guy who played Loki? At the end of that movie, there was I think it was post-credit scenes where they showed all the classic monsters in drawings and cave drawings or something. And they kind of alluded to the idea that they were going to be reviving those characters in that particular Godzilla storyline universe. So I don't know. Billy Barty was a little guy, Tom says. Billy Barty. I don't know who... Did he play the little character who was supposed to have taken... what's the little... Was it Orca? Or the little... I don't know. Remember on the the cartoon? The little guy with the big hat and he floated around. That they didn't have the means to make that. Make it very convincingly without a bunch of pain, and then to try to get that thing on there. So I don't know why they made like Slimer in Ghostbusters. I mean, why wouldn't it have been? I guess the budget. They just didn't have a budget. Bill Barty, actor. Oh, yeah. Okay. Passed away December 23rd, 2000. Okay. Bonus says, Brian, no, I never got around to watching Prince, but I might tonight. I do like John Carpenter movies. Oh, I think that you will really enjoy it. Yeah, let me know next week or through email or whatever. I mean, what you think of it. But I think that's a really good movie. He was the cyborg priest, SBC says to Renee. Patty says, Bill Barty was the actor you hired if you wanted a short person. Nowadays it's Warwick Davis. Yeah. Tom Hiddleston, Stephanie says, that's it, yeah. Loki. Ava, hello everyone. Hey, hello. Hello. She is on YouTube now. She was on Facebook earlier. So a lot of you didn't see that. John would have, perhaps. Bonin says, I might watch it tonight after the Penguins game. Bonin says, hello, Miss Ava. I didn't do it. Sure. That's what they all say. All right, so it's 8:53. All right, I'll be very interested if you do watch The Prince of Darkness, Bonehead. Let me know what you think. I like that movie. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not, everybody's cup of tea. I understand that, but just let me know what you think of it. I thought it was really. I went to the theater to see that, and I really enjoyed that. And I just watched it not too long ago. Within the last, I'm going to say a couple of years. It might have been longer ago than that. I don't know, but it wasn't that long ago, and I still felt that it held up. What made me think of that? Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper's in that movie. Plays one of the street bums on there. Kind of very creepy. He says, hi, Ava. We'll see how this pans out. Again, most of you are on here viewing on YouTube. Most of you are interacting on YouTube. I have very few live viewers on Facebook. So I'm curious to see, because it used to be where most of my viewings were on YouTube. Now that's switched. I wouldn't have thought that, because most of what I'm seeing here is live. Prince of Darkness with Frank Langella? No. Prince of Darkness with gosh, I can't think. It was John Carpenter movie, but I'm trying to think of the guy who played on Simon and Simon as the younger brother, the blonde-haired guy. I can't think of his name. The guy who played. I'm not doing too good remembering names here tonight, but the guy who played the doctor on the Halloween movies. I can't believe I can't think of his name. He's on there as a priest. Can't think of anybody else's names. Yeah, it's kind of another neat thing about that movie is they didn't have like a big A-list star-studded cast, and I do like that. My lips are so dry tonight. It's actually kind of hard to talk. I don't know. The air is dry in here for some reason. Yay, yep, SBC, you know what I'm talking about. I missed something there, I'm sorry. Bonus says, plus the Prince of Darkness has one of the brothers from Simon and Simon. Yep. And I can't think of his name. Bonus says, always get your alibi in quickly. I will do that, Brian. I'm going to make a point to watch it tonight. John says, this has been Chiller Night Live with Bryan Hogue. This is Crozak the Grand reminding you to prepare yourself for next week at what you will binge watch during the holiday weekend. Until next week, stay chilled and keep thrilled. Yes, indeed. We actually did a John Carpenter one of these one night. Remember back when we were doing the themes? Back like earlier in the year? Pretty sure we did one dedicated just to John Carpenter movies, and we were talking about this, the Prince of Darkness. A favor, Brian, Bonehead says, if I may ask, tell Paul Lynch I says hello. Yeah. Oh, Donald Pleasance. That's it. Yeah, Donald Pleasance was in the Carpenter one, Tom says, too. Yes, that's it. Whoa, sick-ass live chiller night theater show. It's a blast. Epic, Renee says. Yes, thank you. Donald Pleasance as Dr. Sam Loomis, Stephanie says. That's it, yep. Jameson Parker was on Simon and Simon, I think. Is that his name? It sounds right. That's the guy. Patty says, is that the one where Van helping shoots up with Dracula blood? Van helping. John, or Frank Langella was on. Well, you know, he was Dracula in the what was it, 1978 Universal Dracula that came out then. I don't remember the specifics of the other one there that you're referring to. Could have been. What? Really? I don't remember that. That's kind of interesting now. I'm kind of curious which one that would have been. SBC says Dolph was also great in the Beastmaster movie. Was he in that? I remember the guy from V who played in V. Remember that series V back in the 80s? Was in there. Gosh, I'm doing really bad with names. Mark Singer. Was it Mark Singer? I think. I know he was in the Beastmaster. I didn't know Dolph was in that as well. I love the second or third part where Dolph, a.k.a. Beastmaster, travels through time portals to the 80s. Oh, did they do that in Beastmaster also? I know they did that in He-Man. Renee says, so I am now going to watch the 2 show I missed, Bryan Hogue. Okay. All right. Well, we miss you whenever you miss us. So we're always glad when you're here with us. Super Pappy says, hello, friends. I recommended the Nicolas Cage Renfield vampire movie. It's a fun one. I saw that one. I did see that one, yeah. That was a fun watch. Van Helsing not helping. Patty says. Take care, y'all, and stay safe, Stephanie says. Let's see. So the... Oh my gosh, I'm kind of far behind here. I didn't realize I was trailing that far behind. Last week and the week before, stay horror heavy, eyes to the skies, UFO, Renee says. Tom says, LOL, I like Van Helping. Van Helping. Not Van Helsing, not helping. Renee says, sweet UFO dreams for top secret declassified disclosure, transparency, and ET, alien missing time, sleep paralysis, nanotechnological implants, probing, and hybrid pregnancy nightmares. Have a nice evening. All right. You too, Renee. All right. See all you degenerates next week, Tom says. All right. Renee says, Prince Singer as the Prince of Darkness. Prince Singer. Singer Prince. A few years too late for that one. SBC says, the time already up again. Stay healthy, everyone. Prepare yourselves for the time of Christmas horror movies. Yeah. Bonin says, Gerald McCraney, Jameson Parker were the Simon. Oh, okay. I remember the older brother, I take it that's Gerald McCraney, maybe, was the last thing I saw him in was Deadwood. Do You guys ever see that? Deadwood, the series? It's pretty good. Renee says, I love the show, and you and Ava make me happy, Bryan Hogue. Oh, thank you, Renee. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, we're happy to have you join us. Renee says, V, the extraterrestrial alien, ate the rat. We ought to do a topic. It's past 9 o'clock. Maybe next week's topic or the week after or something will be V. PBR Street Gang. Maybe I'm getting a wave there. Goodbye. I don't know because I'm not seeing the... We're having this thing. Oh, no. Bona says, good night, Bryan. Good night. Bona D says, I have a list in queue for Thanksgiving. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Binge watch away. PBR, if you are waving, I'm still not having the emojis pop up yet. So, good night. Good night to all. Yep, there's the waves. I knew if I just held on a little bit, I'd see them. So, good night to, thank you all for joining me and each other. Have a good night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next week.